As promised, the sun is beaming down on beautiful Atlanta Motor Speedway, and for Jeff Gordon, this day is particularly warm and bright. Stand by for the coronation of the Winston Cup champion. Well, yesterday's rainstorm is a soggy memory. This morning, the priority is keeping warm. Welcome to chilly Atlanta. Hello, everyone. Hello. Hello, everyone. I'm Dave Despain, trying to fight my way through the crowd. It's a little busy here. Hi. Welcome to NASCAR Today. Hi, folks. You know what these guys are all doing? They're hanging around waiting for Dale Earnhardt's autograph, because I tell you what, he's still the champ, man, and he'll be the champ perhaps through the end of the day, but at the end of the day, we all expect Jeff Gordon to come out with the Winston Cup crown. It's the last race of the year. We're down in the garage area. It's just nuts here. Here's the bottom line. Jeff Gordon's got to do better than last today. Oh, Earnhardt just stuck his face out. We're going to hop over there and talk to Gordon real quick. Here's the deal. The only way Earnhardt... Now, all right. It's his last chance to steal Gordon's thunder.
I met you halfway.
You what?
I met you halfway.
You met me halfway, and what a guy you are.
I don't think anybody's going to steal Gordon's thunder today. I think he's got it made.
Is that right?
We might can go out and win the race, but as far as winning that championship, I think he's about a shoe-in once the flag drops, you know. So we've had a good year. We're going to go out there and race him.
Back in 1980, you became the only guy ever to win the Rookie of the Year crown and then the championship back-to-back. He didn't even manage to do that. You've won 6 more since then.
He didn't win a race his rookie year either.
That's true. As he embarks on this championship deal, what advice would you give him from your perspective as the 7-time champion? How's his life going to change?
Enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Just you got to take it with the, you know, just sort of roll with the flow, because it's gonna get more hectic than it is right now. More requests, more things to do, more fans, and you know, the whole thing. But I tell you what, we've had a great time, and we've enjoyed this year and the past years in champion. We're still looking for 8. We're focusing on next year, so you know, he better enjoy it. I think it's going to be more competitive next year.
Have a good day, man. Thanks for coming out. He did it again. Gordon was supposed to get the top spot in this show, and Earnhardt stole his thunder one last time. Let's go across the garage area to Jeff Gordon.
Well, Gordon said that Earnhardt may still be champion, but he has intentions of taking that crown by the end of the day. Jeff, I'm curious your emotions. Did you get any sleep last night? Are you nervous, excited? What are you feeling right now?
I got a good night's sleep. I'm very excited. I spent the morning at the DuPont Hospitality, and those people will get you fired up on any morning, but we had Ed Woolard, who's the CEO of DuPont there, and it's just been a really, I don't know, exhilarating morning. There's a lot of things going on and a lot of people here, and so it's been great. I'm really fired up, but I still know that we still got to go out there and race today. That's what we're here to do.
Your crew changed an engine this morning. Was there a problem in the last practice, and how's the mood over there with the race car?
You know, I have not even seen those guys today. I haven't talked to Ray yet. We'll talk during the drivers' meeting and right before the race, but I don't even know how to answer that question. Somebody else said, hey, I saw that you guys were changing an engine. I said, that's news to me. So, you know, they're going to make the right call, and I'm sure Dave Tapman and Charlie Seegers were looking at the engine, and maybe they had a concern, but the ones that we're putting in, we brought a lot of good engines with us here. I can tell you that we're not going to have any problem there.
Let me fill you in. They said they did find something after the last practice, and they were real glad they got that last practice in yesterday, so that didn't come up earlier in the race. Good luck today. Jeff Gordon trying to win a championship. Dave?
I got so excited I forgot to give a proper introduction to Alan Bestwick, who's been my teammate all year at NASCAR Today. It's crazy down here. We're in the garage area. We're early, 10 o'clock in the morning. Usually this show is out on the grid right before the race. I'm not sure we're going to be able to get to all the drivers, but we'll give it our best shot. First, let's take a look at how they've qualified here today, beginning with the surprise pole sitter, Darrell Waltrip. How about it? Ricky Rudd still on a great roll. Hamilton, Trickle, and Mayfield all with quality qualifying engines. Jeff Gordon starts his championship run from 8th place here today. Moving on back, you've got Earnhardt starting from 11th spot, 3 positions behind Gordon as he tries for the miracle to pull out the championship. Further back, 18th spot to Sterling Marlin, who is trying to overtake Mark Martin and claim 3rd place in the Winston Cup points. So we're going to come back and talk to that surprise pole sitter right after we take this quick timeout. We're in the middle of the craziness, the last Winston Cup race of the season on NASCAR Today. Stick around. We be coming right back. NASCAR Today is brought to you by the NASCAR 1995 Year in Review video. To order, call 1-800-91-NASCAR. Hey, I found a spot where it's a little less crazy back here where they're gassing up the cars. Did I mention that it's cold here today? 12-degree wind chill this morning, but the big smile on Darrell Waltrip's face has warmed up this place all weekend. Let's go to Alan Bestwick with a pole sitter.
The 59th time in his career he sat on the pole, Dave. Darrell, great run on Friday. Now the question is, how's the car running for the race?
Well, we're pretty good. You know, you got to back things down a little bit, though, for the race. A little different engine combination. That's a hard race. If you watch this race through the years, the last 100 miles, you see a lot of cars fall out. You got to take that into consideration. But in all honesty, we came here to win the pole and we came here to win the race. We're going to run the wheels off the thing today and see what happens. There were some cars a little quicker than us yesterday afternoon, but that's not a big deal. I think we got a good car for 500 miles.
You've had a lousy year this year. I mean, you'll admit that. What would it mean to you to end this season on a real high note?
Well, normally winning a pole is not a big deal. I mean, you know, some of these guys probably win poles all the time. They say, what's the big deal? For us, it's a big deal. We needed something. We just needed a little something to give us some momentum and give us some confidence, and this is part of it. The other thing is, put us in the Busch Clash. That's another deal we can pull together for next year. And then if we win the race today, we win from the pole, we get that Unical money. So we got a lot going for us that we normally wouldn't have to consider. Normally, if I came around on the inside and all the cars were lined up, I'd figure I was a lap down. So today I got to remember I'm on the pole.
All right. Wish you the best of luck today. Great way to end the season. Darrell Waltrip will lead him off for the green flag the last race this season, Dave.
All right, here's a young guy who's going to start top 5 here today. Jeremy Mayfield, when you're as old and rickety as Darrell Waltrip, you figure you can still be winning Winston Cup poles?
Man, I hope so. I tell you what, that's good for Darrell Waltrip to be able to sit on the pole here at Atlanta, and especially the year they had. You know, I think it's really going to be a good day for him.
You guys have had a great year, and 5th qualifying here for the season finale has got to be a big shot in the arm, too. Plan for today and a look maybe to the future, to next year.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to today, especially because the car's running so good. I mean, the thing's really handling well, and we tried some stuff yesterday in the ARCA race that really seemed to work good, and hopefully it'll work like that today.
All right, man, good luck to you.
Thanks.
This guy is a rising star for sure. I'm going to talk about his car for just a little bit because he's one of the Ford drivers here. First, let me take a look at how Chevy has dominated this season. Remember how that's been a story all year long? They ended up winning 20 races this year, and that, by the way, is equal to the number that Ford won last year, just for the record. Chevy led the vast majority of the laps. I want to show you something about the Fords. Corky, can you bring that camera on up here? Right here, or approximately right here, is where they measure the height of the cars. That's where NASCAR does their measurement. If you look closely, you can see that the Ford slopes up a little bit. The Monte Carlo, on the other hand, roofline slopes downward, and they're talking to NASCAR about perhaps making a change in the Ford roofline. They'd also like to move these seat posts in a little bit to improve the downforce on the cars. Now, is any of that going to happen to help Ford come closer to Chevy next year? Alan Bestwick may have a hint for us. Alan?
I believe I do have a hint for you, Dave. As soon as the race is over today, NASCAR will impound some race cars. This is Kevin Triplett, NASCAR's Winston Cup spokesman. What cars will you impound and why?
Well, we'll take a good representation of a Chevrolet and a Ford, maybe more than one. And we'll go back up to Lockheed up in Marietta, which is just a few miles from here, to better educate ourselves in aerodynamics. We did it in March, and obviously these teams have gained ground since then, and we need to get back up to speed to help set the rules for 96.
How quickly do you want to be able to get the rules locked up and lined up for 96?
Well, part of what we're facing here is getting it out to the teams in time to allow them to get ready for January testing, and we just have a few weeks to do that. So we're working on a timeline here.
All right, Kevin, thank you. So after the race today, they'll impound a Ford, a Chevy, maybe a couple of them, head for the wind tunnel north of town and work it out. Dave?
Well, whether your bumper sticker says friends don't let friends drive Fords, or I'd rather push a Chevy than drive a Ford, either way, your loyalties are involved. We're certainly going to know a lot more in the next few weeks about what the aerodynamic picture will be for 96. Meanwhile, some guys still have questions about the 96 season. They include Jeff Bodine, who is still looking for a sponsor. No word yet, though, although Jeff continues to voice optimism that he'll come up with something in time for Daytona. Meanwhile, his brother continues negotiations to try to buy his team from Junior Johnson. Nobody's saying very much about that deal, except the insiders tell me, hey, don't worry about it. Junior Johnson's not going to go anywhere. He'll continue to be part of this sport. Dick Brooks trying to put some kind of a deal together for the 40 car team. No reports of progress there. big questions about the future of that machine. And likewise, Bud Moore still doesn't have his deal put together. They thought they might get the Remington sponsorship. Turns out it's not going to happen. So we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we'll talk to the man who is arguably the hottest property in Winston Cup racing now in terms of recent finishes and performances. We'll have Ricky Rudd, the outside pole sitter, right after this. Things looking pretty good for the Tide ride here. It's been a great last 3 or 4 races for Ricky Rudd. We'll talk to him after we remind you that the race itself will be at 12:40 Eastern Time here on ESPN today. Live coverage of the season's finale. And Ricky Rudd brings to this race the very same car that sat on the pole and led the most laps at Charlotte. Could have won North Wilkesboro, but for the lug nut penalty, did go on and win out at Phoenix, and now you've got the outside pole here. You guys are on a pretty good roll.
Well, Dave, we really are. This Tide Downey Ford has run really well. We kind of hate the season wind down. A lot of guys are enjoying, looking forward to their vacation, but we've been running so well and won the other week at Phoenix and just been doing great things. We hate to see the season end here at Atlanta.
How do you sustain that momentum through Daytona, particularly given the changes that you've got to make and the reorganizational things that are going on in the team? Can you stay focused?
Well, I think so. It really gets back to good note keeping, good record keeping, and we do a good job on that. There's going to be some team changes within the team, and looking forward to having Richard Broom come on next year as a crew chief. But we've got good notes. We've got a good starting point. We'd like to continue the development we've been working on that got us here in the first place, and that's an ongoing process.
Feel like a winner today?
Well, I think so. I mean, we've got a car that's as good as anybody's here. We'll just have to hopefully make the right adjustments throughout the day and try to keep it up front. Those Chevrolets will be tough here at Atlanta, and we're going to go out there and give it our best.
All right, man, have a good run today. That's Ricky Rudd coming from the outside pole. Let me remind you that he's got an issue here in terms of the points. He's currently 8th, but there could be a big swing in the points. Take a look at the graphic. 10th is the magic number. You get a free trip to the Waldorf Astoria if you're 10th or better. Ricky Rudd is 8th. Michael Waltrip down in 14th, and with the point gap there, all those guys could change places. 8th could end up 14th, or 14th could move up to 8th. So that could, give you some real craziness in terms of the scrambling there. Now, I think we've had our first casualty of the television program here, because next up was supposed to be Bobby Hamilton. And I don't have any clue where Bobby Hamilton is. You know what? And I think I've also lost my back 22 from the grid, Joe, so we may be in trouble with that. No, look, I found it. You're going to it with me or without me, aren't you? All right, I got it here. I could... Bobby Labonte, right? No, I got my notes here, guys. I'm okay. That's a good qualifying run for Gary Bradbury, who continues to impress. Joe Nemechek got his Burger King deal extended for another year with a lot more money. He'll start 28th here today. Moving on further back, Morgan Shepherd in 33rd qualifying spot. Remember, there was no second round qualifying because of the rain. That's his last ride in the Citgo Ford. Dale Jarrett was slow on Friday, but has gotten better since and should be a factor. And there are your provisionals on further back. Robert Presley probably won't have a shot at winning the Rookie of the Year championship as a result of having to take a provisional. He would basically have to win the race today to save that Rookie of the Year title and take it away from Ricky Craven. We do have Bobby Hamilton. We found him in the middle of this chaos down here, and he's with Alan Bestwick.
Well, he wasn't in the middle of the chaos, Dave. The driver's meeting is happening just back over our cameraman's shoulder here. He was already in there. Didn't want to be late and start at the back of the pack, especially with such a good qualifying run. How's your car running on race setup?
It seems to be good, Alan. We only run 5 laps before qualifying. We run 4 laps yesterday evening. We had a rear end act up in it. We had to work on that, but this is the same car we run at Charlotte. We never changed the setup from Charlotte to here, and it seems to be doing good. The motor is running excellent, so we're right in that mileage deal with Michael. We got to get 350 miles under our belt because that pays like $50,000. Once we get that under there, then we're going to see how we can race.
Yeah, that's the Die Hard Award. Let's talk about the points. You're 13th. You're only 88 points out of 10th, and just a handful more than that out of like 8th. Are you watching those guys while you're racing today or not?
Yeah, we are, but, you know, the way we're looking at it, we don't have anything. The worst we can be is 14th. Nobody else can catch us. So after we run that 350 miles, we're going to go just hard as we can to see what happens.
All right, good luck today. Great qualifying run. Bobby Hamilton going to get up there before he's late for that driver's meeting and has to start in the back of the pack, Dave.
All right, I'm going to see if I can find Ricky Craven. We're going to take a quick commercial break while we do that. See if Rick, the Rookie of the Year thing is, in fact, all locked up. Look at these folks having fun down here doing the garage tour. We'll be right back.
Having a ball, y'all.
We're back. Big day for Jeff Gordon. He can clinch the championship. Ricky Craven has all but locked up the Rookie of the Year title, and you start 10th today, so it's a great way to wrap up the season. Are you worried about the rookie deal, or is it all done?
I'm not going to say that, but
I'm looking forward to the checkered flag here this afternoon. I mean, I'm excited about the race. We have a good car. It's given us 3 top 10s this year. And thankful to Kodiak Chevrolet for getting me in the Winston Cup, and of course Max for sponsoring the rookie race. It's been a great one all year, and hopefully it'll be official at the end of the day.
As you watch a guy like Jeff Gordon emerge as a star in this sport, are there things you file away in the back of your mind that you need to be doing next year, the year after that, as you try to duplicate his success?
You know, I've had a working relationship with Ray and Jeff and DuPont, of course, and watched them pretty closely, and they've done things perfectly and had a great year, and they deserve what they're getting now, and that's going to be hard to duplicate, but that's everyone's intention.
Okay, man, thanks for taking time. Head to that driver's meeting. I don't want you to miss that and have to give up that 10th starting spot. Quick medical updates. Tim Steele beat Joe Bessie yesterday in the ARCA race here. Joe Bessie, I understand, was offered a full-time truck ride after the race, although he won't say who it's with. Richard Brickhouse hit the wall pretty hard, held overnight for observation and a precautionary CAT scan. Crewman Doug Easton and Blaze Alexander Sr., father of the ARCA driver, his namesake, were both injured on pit road, but they're going to be okay. Jimmy Horton broke some bones yesterday in this horrendous crash. He broke both collarbones, both shoulder blades. He has a crack in a vertebrae, and man, you can see why from that impact. This was just a horrible looking crash, but the upshot of it all is that Horton is going to be okay. All those bones will heal, and we'll take another look at how this happened. The car got upside down, and then it tried to right itself, and as it flipped, he was drilled by Ed Dixon, who came busting through. It was just a frightening looking crash, but the upshot again is some fractures for Jimmy Horton. He was scheduled to drive today, but that impact right there has certainly taken away that opportunity. Instead, there will be another driver in that car. The significance here is that it is a Hendrick Racing car. It was qualified as an insurance policy for Jeff Gordon. Let's find out the latest after that crash yesterday for Horton. Alan Bestwick has the story.
All right, I'm with Rick Hendrick, who's the car owner for Jeff Gordon, and Terry Labonte and Ken Schrader. And Jimmy Horton scheduled to drive another car and got beat up pretty well yesterday. Have you talked to Jimmy at all?
You know, I tried to talk to him, but they say he's doing pretty good. He's got a couple of broken bones and some fractures, and we were really looking forward to having him in the car, but Jimmy will be back, and good news is he's okay. That was a violent crash.
So Jeff Purvis will start that other car. My question for you is, are you nervous? You look like you're wound up tighter than a spring.
Well, you know, I don't think I'm going to get really that nervous until they play the national anthem and they say, you know, start your engines, and then your heart's going to go crazy for a little bit. But it's been a long time coming, and you know, a lot of telegrams, a lot of calls, a lot of our folks back home and in the automobile business and friends are calling, and you know, for our whole organization, this is a big day, and so, you know, you just you wait for it, and every week you think it might happen, but maybe today, hopefully, will be the day, and we'll get to celebrate.
It's been 10 years in the making. We wish you luck today. We're going to get out of the way before we get run over. We're right where the cars come out of the inspection line. That's Rick Hendrick, the man who hopes to be on the stage as the Winston Cup champion car owner in a few weeks.
Well, the celebration here at Atlanta will continue tomorrow morning. The track is buying breakfast for the fans. It's called Breakfast with the Champion. Jeff Gordon will be here for breakfast with his adoring public tomorrow morning to kind of wrap up this Atlanta weekend. What an incredible season it has been, and we'll wrap it up tonight in terms of Winston Cup racing on RPM tonight. That's at 8 o'clock Eastern time. That's the definitive rundown on everything that happens this weekend in motorsports. The headline story, of course, being the Winston Cup Championship. We'll be back in a moment. We're back. We're thinking Winston Cup racing. They're whispering in my electric earphones here, which are keeping my ears warm on this cold morning. Remember football. I don't know anything about football. They told me it was the Broncos versus the Eagles. I thought it was the Rock Band. I don't know from this stuff. No, it's football tonight on ESPN. It's good stuff. Check it out, 8 o'clock Eastern time. But here, of course, the story is the Winston Cup Championship that will be decided today. And by the way, the Napa 500 is a pretty decent 500-mile automobile race. Let it not be overshadowed by the championship quest. One of the guys that will be covering the action for ESPN as we go up at 12:40 with our live race coverage is Benny Parsons. And Benny, I'm wondering what's on your mind here today on this final race of the season.
Why is everyone getting so excited about a championship? It's only $1.5 million. It's no big deal. You got to try to win a race, but it is a big deal. And I feel sorry for Jeff Gordon, what he's had to go through for the last couple of weeks, but I feel even sorrier for Ray Evernham, Rick Hendrick, and the entire crew. There must be 100 people working at Hendrick Motorsports. Every one of them is thinking about what they can do to ensure the 24 car wins the championship. It's been a tough 2 weeks on the entire Hendrick Motorsports. That's the folks I feel sorry for.
All right, thank you, Benny. He's going to have a hard day's work up in the booth there today. I hope they got plenty of burgers to keep him busy for that 500-mile grind. We come to Atlanta. It's always so much fun, and we accumulate so many great memories from this place. I went back through the tape archives to pull out a couple that I thought were special, a couple of my favorite memories of the last race here in Atlanta. In 1988, the red number 9 was the star of the show. Fans flocked down from the North Georgia mountains to see their local hero, Bill Elliott, claim the Winston Cup. Hey, Benny Parsons, remember this? Our man in the booth ended his Winston Cup driving career, facing the wrong way on the apron, but looking to the future.
I'm okay, yeah, I'm okay. But I kept wanting to win this race. But, you know, if I'd have won the race now and I think about it after just what happened, if I'd won the race, I probably would not have wanted to quit. You know, I probably want to come back. Now it makes this job, your job, a lot easier. Please let me help you next year, Dick.
Benny Parsons is on. He'll be with us next year doing the ESPN broadcast. He's fine today. He calls it a career.
Benny, we hated to see that first career end that way, but we're sure glad you chose us for your second career. For Elliott, perennially the most popular NASCAR driver, this was vindication day. 3 years earlier, Awesome Bill won everything but the season-ending prize. 7 years ago this weekend, the Winston Cup went home to Dawsonville. Fast forward to 1992, the Polish victory lap by a determined young man from Wisconsin. 4 months later, fate intervened and denied Alan Kulwicki the opportunity to complete his reign as champion. But we will never forget the man or the moment in which he claimed the crown. And that day was memorable for a couple of more reasons. Who can forget the retirement of the king? After 35 years, 200 victories, the sun set at last on the driving career of Richard Petty. He remains the greatest hero in the sport. He hung up his helmet for the final time here at Atlanta in the final race of 1992. And you know the last thing about that race that I remember, 1992? The first Winston Cup race for a young kid named Jeff Gordon, who today has the opportunity to take home the biggest prize of his racing career. Alan Bestwick, perhaps a final thought from you here as we're, what, now 2 hours away from the start of the big race.
Dave, a final thought more on the season than on the race itself. As the Winston Cup circuit continues to grow bigger and the pressure on the teams continues to grow bigger, the grind on the men who put these race cars together grows bigger. And a general thought I've heard from a lot of people this weekend is being glad the season is over because they're tired and ready for a break. Yet at the same time, in about 2 weeks' time, they'll all be ready to head to Daytona and start it all over again next February.
Did you see those pictures from the Hubble telecast, the Hubble telescope a while back? The brightest stars in the firmament. I think the brightest star is going to be crowned here today in the Napa 500. Certainly the brightest star in Winston Cup. The race at 12:40, so be sure and catch it all flag to flag. We'll be back next Saturday at 11 o'clock for a season review edition of NASCAR Today. And coming up next, of course, is live coverage of the New York Marathon. Jam-packed day here on ESPN and ESPN2. So good luck, Jeff. Good luck, Dale. Good luck to all the Winston Cup stars. And congratulations to all of you. And thank you for a great season of NASCAR Today. I'm Dave Despain. See you next week.